Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a bunch of results covering BSF Toronto as well as the Sendai Cup happening in Japan. Lots to cover, and I'm doing this just before I head to BSF Melbourne. So here we go. These are the results. This is what you guys are here for. If you guys need any coaching, Metafy link is in the bottom right hand corner. Feel free to book a session and we can get started. If not, hit that subscribe button because you know you want to get all notifications on this channel. So looking at the try format, actually we should probably cover the standard format first because it kind of gives us a little bit of a picture going into try regulation and essentially what people are looking to play. So the first team, I'm guessing standard was in day one. So the first team brought a Shunui, Jujud and Shamu. Definitely not a lineup that I would have expected. The other lineups, I guess, are a bit more, what's it called? Conventional to what I would think would be like, you know, a suitable lineup. So congratulations to the first team. I really love to see diversity in, I guess, the team builds. And I guess Jujud is a pretty interesting one, but we'll talk about that once we look at the deck list. Second place took Prism, Luard and Magnolia Mask. That is a pretty spicy one. Gonna look at that one as well. Third place was Prism, Youthberg and Shunui. Prism, again, another spicy one to look at. And then the fourth, bringing Prism, Shunui and Shamu. I think Shamu finally has hit the Western scene, just kind of seeing what damage it can actually do. So just looking at some of the lists for this. So the Jujud list. I think a good talking point about Jujud is that it's a quick deck, right? These other decks, like Shunui, opt to go second, and if you're going first as Jujud, you just smash him in the face, and then Shunui just doesn't have the hand to be able to guard through, you know, grade 4 Jujud and Ignis Jujud, right? It's just too much, right? 5 attacks, you know, you're already reduced prior to your first grade 3 turn, and you actually don't farm a lot, right? Because Jujud, you know, gets rid of back row once Ignis comes down, your opponent just loses all their Tenreis, loses all their Shinris if they can't use it, and unlucky, like your opponent actually can't do anything. So yeah, pretty interesting list. Gotta say, like playing one of the OT remover, but otherwise like everything else is kind of the same. Playing 1 cat, 3 Gungaram, which is, you know, a pretty big number. Obviously focusing on Forbidal as the Regalis piece, and that's, you know, to be expected, gotta say. Then another list we're going to look at is the Magnolia Mask. This has the new PR. This PR makes Magnolia Mask so good. I think once set 1 comes out, it's going to be really, really strong. And an interesting grade 3, a one-of, which is the OT remover. We actually don't see this used often at all. So being able to kind of see this, you know, finally have a little bit of action, that's really cool to see. Otherwise, everything else is kind of as it is, you know. Persona Ride, applying to back row, the Goat, well, the Goidot or the Goat, really, really strong grade 2, but this PR just makes it that much better to use Magnolia Mask. And I think once set 1 comes out, I think the support in that will make this deck flourish a lot. So yeah, very cool to see. I think there will be more Magnolia Mask tops in the future. Then just looking at the prison list, this is as simple as it gets, you know. This is as cookie cutter. You're playing the Guard District. We did see the new triple rare that Prison gets in set 2. I think that's pretty bonkers. And then playing the Blitz Order, being able to essentially just, you know, choosing 2 grade 2 or greater units from the bin and calling them, and it gains plus 10k power, right? So yeah, it's like, you know, you call back, like, wait, this list doesn't even play at Rouge, does it? Oh, it's grade 2 or greater. So you can call this, which is like a 5k shield, sure. But like, you don't play Rouge. So I'm actually not sure about the application of this. I guess like if you call back, I don't know, this, it's like 10, it's like 5k, sure. But yeah, that one's a bit weird. Not sure about that one. And then obviously the other Blitz Order as well. So, you know, plus 5k for each card in Prison, that's always good. Forbidal to find your Pure Light and your Guard Restrict grade 3. Yeah, very, very straightforward deck. I think it's a really, really good deck. Then looking at the Tri Regulation, this is where, you know, things are really, really sweaty, and like everyone is playing super meta though, right? Like first, so this is Sage's team, I think. So they brought Gurgut, Shunui, and Night Rose, and then this is Stephen Lee's team coming second place with Tyler bringing on Shunui and Night Rose. Third was a Gurgut, Shunui, and a Gridora, and then fourth was I think this is Adrian Barber's team. So fourth place was Luard, Shunui, and Shunui. This is so sweaty, man. Like V premium teams are all like tier 1 meta decks. 2 of them are Gurgut, 2 of them are like, you know, really strong decks, Anj and Luard. Every single standard player played Shunui. Man, it would be free farming if you played Prism in the standard, you know, slot. And then like even premium, 2 Grand Blues, probably one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the format at the moment. Gridora just falling short, not being able to stop Night Rose. And then, you know, Shunui, I think Crest Shunui is like one of the most reputable decks at the moment. So just looking at the Anj list, so this is Tyler's list, nothing too fancy, you know, super straightforward. Anj, Tira, Pearl Sisters, ways to be able to get Lisa Lot down early, you know, Jermaine to be able to find your Lisa Lots and just spam them, right? This format has Miotoa, so you play 1 Miotoa as an attack extender. Yeah, very straightforward, very solid deck. Then just looking at the Luard, so this is Adrian Barber's list. Very straightforward again. This one doesn't play the bat, so it plays very consistent, you know, 4 attack deck. Always making sure that, you know, you're building force on 2 sides, pretty much damage choking your opponent, and then you create an insane amount of force that your opponent just literally can't guard, right? So yeah, very cool list. Then looking at the premium side of things, so this is Sage's list. So this is very similar to Maxime's list. So Solemn's list, playing the 1 in Largolf, focusing on the G Night Rose, 1 V Night Rose to be able to ride into Bad Bounty. But otherwise, everything else just kind of stays the same. Forbidal is really good in this deck because essentially you're able to get out like your Dragons, your Night Storms, your Enlargolf to be able to get your heals back. Very strong application. And then playing the 1 Ghosty because the Ghosty name may matter sometimes, you know, the 0.01% that it matters. And then obviously playing this over Bell because it has better applications into Narukami and Eradicators in general. So yeah, very cool list. This is maybe a 1-for-1 copy list of Solemn's Worlds list. So yeah, very cool. And then looking at the list for the 3rd place team, so the Gridora player, this one is a bit weird, kinda. So you play 1V Darkface, 3G Darkface, ways to recur rear guards, and I guess you have access to this new V promo to make your ride a bit more consistent, but otherwise playing pretty much the rest of the package for Gridora. And I'm not really sold. I don't know how this deck is good. Like, there are ways for like Grand Blue to beat this, and Grand Blue, as much as it semi-struggles into Gridora, it's not like order loss either. They play a really grindy game, and yeah, I don't know. I'm actually not sure. But, you know, Gridora, still a thing to consider because it's a gatekeeper deck, right? Then the last deck to look at is the Shunui list. So this one plays Crest Shunui, playing the 1 Esperadia and the Forbidal to be able to find it out. Otherwise, playing 1 Zanki. This list also plays Mizukaze. I think Mizukaze in a Crest build is very overkill. You pretty much ride or stride into Sukumurakan and that's it. Like, your opponent's dead. Like, imagine trying to guard 5 attacks with Sukumurakan at 4 with the Crest power. It's like practically impossible. So yeah, playing a 2nd Sukumurakan is something I probably would do. For Rene, pretty much everything else. Playing 1 Magutembu, one of the Mukuro from the standard Stride deck set. Pretty interesting, but otherwise everything else kind of sits the same. So very interesting lists, gotta say. Really keen to see what comes about this weekend for BSF Melbourne as well. Then jumping to the Chiho Cup Deluxe, which was held in Sendai. Just looking at, I guess, the distribution here in this pie chart, majority of teams brought Shunui, a bunch of them brought brought like a bunch of other stuff like Luard. Eva is like a new fan favorite, well, a returning fan favorite. Vargas, Wellsters, Mygo is one of the decks coming back up again. Shamu is also good, and just a bunch of one of everything else. So the champion team brought Shunui, Luard, and Eva. So I'm just gonna go through some of the obscure stuff, obviously giving, you know, respect to the first place team. So the first place team brought Shunui. This is as cookie cutter as it gets. This is pretty much what you should be playing for standard in the English side, because everything is accessible in English other than the energy generator until next month. Or actually this month, right? Later this month. But yeah, very straightforward. Not opting to run the dragon, playing the Shunui for the grade 2 game. It's just how it is, you know? It's just that good, right? Luards. So this one is pretty standardized, playing 4 Biscotti, 4 Selgowan, literally your grade 2 gaming engine, playing one of the angel, well, 4 of the angel that can intercept. And the best thing is it's not locked behind GB. It just ritual 3, intercept, 10k shield, living the dream, right? You put a Selgowan behind it, it's 21, hits over defensives in a grade 2 game, call it a day, right? This deck is just so standard, so cookie cutter, but so good, right? And then looking at the Eva list, so this Eva list has changed from what it was before. So Eva now runs the monster order in its ride line. I guess taking the slots of the protection order. Control isn't that big of a problem at the moment. So being able to, I guess, fish out your PGs, fish out your promo. The promo is just so good. Being able to ride straight into Poison Eva is very, very impactful. You can also find your recycler as well. But otherwise, everything is just as the same as an Eva deck before, but essentially it's sped up because now it can get to Poison Eva, essentially get multi-attacks for free, much, much quicker. Then looking at some of the other odd lists, so this Chaos list was wild. I have no clue what the hell is going on. I just know that this PR is equivalent to the Eva PR, being able to jump into the grade 3 re-ride Chaos, and it just does a bunch of stuff, and yeah, it's just good, right? That's all I know about this deck. I have read nothing in this deck. Mikani restands, yeah, that's pretty much all I know. But I just know that that PR is very, very good. Playing 4 of the new cycle card, being able to just draw in the early game stabilizes this deck really well, because one of the problems with Chaos is that it is fragile as hell. You know, cycle cards do its magic, and you know, this player did really well. Actually, pretty keen to know what the individual score was for this particular player. Then looking at Fennel, this is wild. Like, is it because this team wanted to play for diversity cut, which is why they played Fennel? But they must have done well, right? In a 4 or 5 round tournament, like surely the other 2 players just carry this player, right? So they must have done well. But like no new stuff. This is like Lyrical 4 stuff. This is like stuff you can build right now in the Western side. So am I missing something? Maybe the energy generator is just that strong, right? The draw one is just that strong. But yeah, really cool to see Fennel up there too. Mygo, so I think this is a really good talking point too, because Mygo is going to be released in set 1 for English. Probably one of the cheapest, best meta decks you could pick up right now. If you are sweaty, want to win like I am, you're going to pick up Mygo and you're going to play it, right? It is the Shunui Slayer. Make sure you pick this up. It is faster than Morphonica. Morphonica is also a Shunui Slayer, but it is faster because Morphonica does nothing on the grade 3 turn. Otherwise, it's like a restanding Vanguard with Battle Door, but we'll talk about that in just a sec. But yeah, you know, previously Mygo had the 46 card limit. Now it's 50, so you're essentially adding 1 order and 3 of the Crychich grade 1/grade 2, being able to fill up your soul for your effects. Then Shamu, we've seen it do really good in the Western side. It's just really strong, right? 4 attacks with like 70 something K power is nothing to be, you know, just make sure you have PGs, right? Just make sure you have PGs, otherwise you're eating it and you're gonna feel really bad, right? Shamu just hits like a truck. That's just it, right? It's a very strong deck, and I think a lot of people need to kind of take this into account for their team composition, because I think this deck is ridiculously strong. Then, just as I said before, Morphonica. Morphonica is, again, another Shiranui Slayer, a really strong deck to pick up, but obviously not as strong as Mygo. It's one turn slower. It does nothing on grade 3, essentially. It's pretty much a vanilla turn, but then when you get to the 4th turn, you're essentially attacking with a restanding Vanguard with Battle Door. Yeah, pretty annoying, but otherwise it's a very, very strong deck. Definitely a deck for people to pick up as well. And then the last deck we're going to look at is the Direful Dolls. I had a look at this deck and I like it. I like it. It encompasses the weaknesses of Direful Dolls, which is the early game, right? So pretty much cycle a card, check. All the staples for Direful Doll, check. Have the Almagesta, check. The one thing I would probably change would be to run a second cat and then drop the Almagesta grade 1 to 3. You know, you have your Direful Doll triggers, playing Chalice over Bracing Angel Ladder. I agree with that as well. The OT, I would probably change, but then again, you know, sometimes the Direful Doll, the Dark State's OT, if you flip it early, you just win, right? But otherwise, I think Direful Doll, in a teams meta, it's really hard, especially if you're really well versed in it, because this deck will go to time. So if you're thinking of picking it up for set 1 and you're playing it for your BSF, make sure you know all the effects in and out, know and literally simulate it. Like, if you're playing against me, I hope you're an AI and go through this deck in half a second, because I'm not waiting for you to read all your effects and think about your moves, because this deck already naturally takes long because of how tanky it is and just how many interactions there is. It's just, yeah, it takes a long time. All right, so yeah, that is pretty much all the results we have for this past few weeks. So if you guys like this video, pop a like, comment down below what you guys think. What are you guys expecting for the next BSF events? We'll be covering it on this channel once I get back from BSF Melbourne. If you guys haven't already, click that subscribe button and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.